Welcome to Groton. I'm your host, Cindy Olsen. The holidays are upon us and the pandemic has created new opportunities for criminal behavior. Today we're going to look at how you can protect yourself. My guest is Groton Town Police Officer Sean O'Brien. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. I know you guys are busy. Really appreciate it. So this time of year, what's the criminal activity looking like?
Well, we're getting a lot of uptick in a lot of property crime. People getting close to the holidays, and with the pandemic going on, stress over money, we're having all sorts of property crimes, shoplifting, theft from businesses and yards, and some of them can be pretty brazen too.
Really?
As in last week, someone in the middle of the day showed up at a closed business and stole like $5,000 worth of stuff right out of the yard. So, it's the holidays puts extra pressure on people, and unfortunately, with that, they will commit crimes. So
right. Oh, that's sad. So with that, Town of Groton Police, what do you suggest for those persons who live in the neighborhood?
Mm-hmm.
I know the business, that was a special example, but even in your own neighborhood, how can you protect yourself?
The major thing, and this has been a trend since the pandemic started, was theft from and of motor vehicles. Mm-hmm. And it's as simple as just locking your car. Just lock your car, take any valuables out of sight, and it will deter a lot of crime. This whole area, this whole state, in fact, all of New England is getting hit pretty hard by stolen cars. And over the summer, it was almost not a nightly thing, but at least a couple times a week,
Really?
We were responding to reports of a stolen car or cars that had been entered, and someone had their car locked and the key not in it, but they had the key for it in their other car, which was unlocked.
Oh, no.
And I went to a residence and knocked on the door. Nobody answered, and I saw they had a Nest camera outside, so I just spoke into that so they could see why the police were there. And they looked at the camera to see me, and they looked behind me and saw that their car was not there.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah, that's the major thing, is just when it comes to property crime, as we've spoken previously about scams,
Mm-hmm.
you have to think like a criminal. You have to think, how could someone get into here? How could they access whatever I have?
Right. What's a value right here in my
what's
garage?
What's a value? Yeah,
right
in the garage. Where do you keep a spare key? If no one's gonna be home, can somebody see into your garage, or do you have blinds so they can see? There's because a lot of burglaries will happen during the daytime.
Really?
Yeah, because people. It's a little different nowadays with the pandemic, but people usually go to work,
right?
Or they go to events, and
so they're not at home watching. Or,
so they go knock on your door to sell magazines or looking for a lost dog, and when no one comes to the door, they might check the side door.
Kind of casing it out.
Exactly. So the best thing to do is to think like a criminal. Everyone's got locks. Make sure you lock your house, lock your car. And people say, "Oh, I live in Groton. I live in Mystic. I shouldn't have to." But it's happening everywhere.
It
so
is. It's better to be cautious.
Yeah, it's better to be cautious. And like I said, anything that is of value and can be easily accessed by somebody, it has potential to be taken. So
if that happens to you,
mm-hmm.
what should you do? Should you call 911?
Yeah, if it's an emergency, like if your car is missing,
mm-hmm.
that may be a non-emergency call. But if you just watch somebody drive it away, that may be a 911 call, which somebody has. If you see somebody on your street who doesn't belong there, in the sense that you know your neighborhood better than everybody. I, as a patrol officer, there's several neighborhoods I go throughout the town. I don't know everybody who belongs everywhere or
Right.
what cars are parked at what driveways, but you know when your neighbor gets a new car because
Right.
you notice the car in the
Yeah.
driveway. So when that suspicious looking person or that suspicious vehicle's parked on the street, that's time for maybe to start thinking, what's going on.
If it seems out of place.
Yeah, if something
take
seems out of
note.
place, just give us a call, because it's better to call us, have us go by and check and just say, that's just somebody from the water company,
Okay.
a legitimate person who's or surveying or something, and a realtor. It's better than that than having to, find out that someone's home is broken into or something like that.
Right.
So
That's awful. Okay, thank you. So lock your cars, lock your house, put your pricey items away.
put your pricey items away.
Yeah.
Yep. And and maybe on social media, don't advertise as much as
Oh yeah.
where you're going. Again, this year may be the exception, but going up to Vermont for Christmas with the whole family might be something not to
I'm a big proponent of share the news after.
Yeah,
Went away to Vermont for the weekend. Had a great time at Grandma's.
exactly.
But I agree with you. I think a lot of people might be staying home more this year.
Yeah.
But it's still good to note, don't tell everybody your every move on social media, because that's, like you said, think like a criminal.
Yeah, you have
That's
to
what
think
they
like
would
a
do?
criminal, and
Okay.
I mean, there's a ton of steps people can take as far as online safety and things like that.
Okay.
So
So, I have a lot of questions. I wrote them all out too.
I'm here.
I know. Going to a different avenue, what about, I know shopping is limited this year. It's not as crazy as normal. People are told not to go to the big stores, and the big stores have been great about not being open as crazy hours. But what about shopping this time of year? What are some precautions people should take when they are out shopping? Some of the stores are open till maybe an hour later, but it's still dark.
Yeah, it's still dark. A lot of stores have adopted the method of what's called crime prevention through environmental design. So everything's well lit and visible. You don't have a parking lot where there's a bunch of places to hide, things like that. Everything's nice and open. There's cameras.
Okay.
So park where everybody else is parking, I would say. Somewhere where at least somebody's going to be walking past your car, and you're not in the corner lot.
Okay.
Where somebody, I know people have nice cars, they don't want them dinged up and things like that. But again, when you go there, make sure your valuables that you're leaving in the car are hidden.
Right.
Make sure that you are locking your car. And when you walk, obviously, if you are in a place that's not as well lit, there's not as many people, you could do something as simple as carrying your keys in your hand.
Okay.
If somebody were to approach you and attempt to harm you, things like that. But for the most part, most of the stores, like you said, are being very good about that. When you're shopping, trying to bring a big bag in there if you can't hold on to it the whole time.
Right.
There's been many times where I've gone to the supermarket and I'll watch someone shopping and thinking like criminal, they step away from their cart for 2 seconds.
For 2 seconds, yeah.
And the purse is sitting right there.
Right.
And things can get stolen that way. It takes a couple minutes to grab your wallet, which you're not going to notice until
you get to the register.
20 minutes later when you go to the register. And the other thing we've had problems with in the past, you unload the groceries and you have, the kids or the dog and
your purse is sitting in the carriage while
and then, you possibly have to pick up your husband at a store, your husband's picking you up at the store, and you're rushing because you pulled up the fire lane. Make sure you take everything out of the cart, because people will grab the bags and they'll forget the purse.
Oh, wow.
So we've had that happen quite a few times. So
really? Okay.
Make sure, and the good practice with that, and I know everybody's guilty of it, just don't leave the cart, where you got it. Go to the cart return or go back to the store, because that's when you're actually going to see in the cart that, it won't push in with the other carts. It's because my purse is still sitting in it.
I like that idea. It's
Yeah.
multitasking. You're putting it back and you're checking yourself.
Yeah, you got to
maybe
you
slowing
got to put
down.
the cart back. That's just proper.
Yeah.
That's just the proper thing to do. So
I feel like this year everybody slowed down a little bit with the holidays, but maybe even, whether it's this year or next year, slow down a little and check yourself. Make sure you have everything.
Another good tip to do is if you can shop with a friend, shop with a friend, because especially now where you can't really go out to dinner,
Right.
but you can meet at
Target.
Walmart or Target, and you can social distance from each other, but still you're shopping with somebody and you have somebody kind of with you. So that's always a good idea, is to bring a friend.
An extra pair of eyes.
Extra pair of eyes,
That's good.
And, if you do have the dog in the car, that sometimes is a nice deterrent for some people. So, and if it's not too warm, we're talking December here, so you don't need to call the police if you see a dog in the car in December.
I'm going to ask you about that. So,
but yeah, that's another good tactic to use.
One plus from the pandemic has been people have been quicker on their visits to stores, so I guess that's a small plus of this whole thing. But
yeah, people are very efficient. They know what they go in and they get, and people are hitting the arrows, and there's almost a social shame
if you don't.
Four people went up there and there's one person.
You get the eyes.
Everybody silently judges them. So I think people are getting better and more efficient at it.
I think
things
so
like
too.
that. So.
Oh man. Well, Sean, thank you. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back to talk more about protecting yourself at the holidays and during our pandemic.
It's all of our responsibility to slow the spread of the coronavirus. So follow guidance from authorities where you live and stay home unless absolutely necessary. You can still use your outdoor spaces like yards and decks. It's also okay to go for a walk or exercise outside. Wear a cloth face covering, stay at least 6 feet away from other people, try not to touch any surfaces, and wash your hands for at least 20 seconds as often as possible. Visit Coronavirus.gov for the latest information.
Hello and welcome back. We are talking with Officer Sean O'Brien today about protecting yourself during the holidays and the pandemic. So, Sean, we talked about a couple things already, but one of the things I definitely want to talk to you about, especially this year, I think everybody's doing it, is online shopping. How can somebody, well, I guess I should back that up a little bit. Is online shopping like a gift to the scammers?
It can be. It's not so much the online shopping that can be a gift, but if someone is too trusting, that could be a gift to the scammers, or they give too much information online.
True.
Yeah. So this time of year, everybody, I'm sure you, me, people watching, everyone can say right now they have a package waiting to be delivered, So you might get an email that these scammers just cast a large net that say your package is being delayed, or there's issues with the shipment, or there's issues with the order, and they're going to want to, in this email, they'll have a hyperlink that click here type thing. And what the hyperlink says, it may not be where it leads to, so I advise everyone to, with their mouse, just hover over it, and a little box should appear to where the website's actually going. But also be mindful if you are having an issue with the package, like, if you have that voice in your head when you have let's say, an email from UPS, and it says there's been an issue with your order. Right. But when you ordered that thing on Etsy or eBay or Amazon, that they said it was FedEx, or maybe it's UPS, but that's when you need to double check. You need to go back into the account and see, is there actually an issue an issue with that order.
Could that be? Yeah.
Yeah, so because again, like I said, everyone's kind of expecting a package right now. So you're going to get those scammers who are going to send this email. They want you to call a phone number, and if you provide them all this information that you're looking for, that they're looking for, I'm sure they'll tell you that everything's fine.
But but in that conversation, you've just given them all the information they need.
And it might not even be an email; it could be a phone call. You know, again, this is UPS, this is FedEx, this is United States Post Office. We're having an issue with your shipment.
Okay.
Was the online order something you provided your telephone number for? Why are they calling you? You know.
Yeah.
You know, so those are things you have to be mindful of.
Okay.
You know, if you do receive that phone call, you do get that email. You know, the phone call, like, thank you, I'll look into it. Just hang up. Just hang up, as we said before, and then verify yourself. You know, go back into your account and verify this is happening. You know, look up the number for UPS or the online retailer that you used, and call them and ask them if there's an issue, because the last thing you want is the package not showing up on time. Right. But you also don't want to get scammed right now. Right. So, and the scammers know that this time of year, people take out, you know, they get their Christmas loans and things like that, so they have extra money. So you don't want to make that money you worked all year and saved all year available to these scammers. So.
No, you don't. So I really like the way you said that. Like, if they call you or if they email you, thank you, I'll check on that. But definitely check. Yeah, definitely check yourself.
Definitely check, and again, the peace of mind is, you know, is something that you want to have when it comes to the online shopping. Right. You know, if you're not sure of the website, you know, if
it's fraudulent or
if it's fraudulent, you know, something. A store in town here, you can always call the store themselves, like GameStop, and say, what's your actual website? You know, and they'll tell you it's maybe just GameStop.com. Okay. Whereas opposed to you got an email from Game-Stop.com. You know, and that's how these scammers work. I showed you the email earlier, and I'll show everybody here the email I had received from PayPal, allegedly. And if you want to zoom in on this, I'll hold it up right here.
Oh, I think I got a similar email from them.
Yeah, because again, everybody is using the accounts, and everybody's using PayPal and Venmo and Cash App and things like that. So you notice in here, and I had shown you, and you know, hopefully they'll be able to see this, the L in PayPal is actually a capital I. Yeah. So and I know I haven't done anything with my PayPal. I don't use my PayPal.
Right, me either.
If I use a PayPal, it's usually my wife's. But
little things.
It's that little mistake where I notice it's a capital I and it's not an L. They want people who don't notice that, because people who are not paying attention to those details are the people they want to catch in this net. If you're not paying attention to that, what else aren't you paying attention to? Are you going to give your social security number over the phone? Yeah. Are you going to give your bank account over the phone? Right. You know, those are the type of details they want.
And there's no need for any package to need your social security number, correct?
No, I mean, you know, with your credit card company, you know, you should have provided all that. Yeah. And all they want, you know, most companies is your credit card number, you know, your 3-digit and all that.
Yep, the little
that's only
security
something
code
you should be filling out online.
At the time of payment.
At the time of payment. I think I've had Chelsea Groton, they have a great fraud department with me. They've called me because they've seen charges that weren't legitimate. But even they don't ask the 3 code, you know, the 3-number code of the 4-number code. You know, they ask personal information that I can identify. And they're just, hey, we're looking just to verify that you've done this and purchased that. And like, you know, that's correct.
My bank does a very similar thing, and I love it. Sometimes it's even just a text now. Yeah. Did you make a recent purchase of this amount? Yeah. If yes, all's good. If no, call us.
And that should be something you should be aware that the bank, it's a feature that your bank is offering.
Correct.
And again, if you're getting a text message and you don't remember a purchase, but maybe you ordered online at Chipotle, and all of a sudden, you're like, oh, okay, that's an online order, so maybe that's what it was. But
Right.
you want to make sure it's something that you signed up to receive those text messages. But the banks are actually very helpful because if you're looking to make a purchase, you can call them, and most banks will give you a temporary credit card number.
Okay.
So if you want to,
like a big
if you want to buy that big ticket item from Walmart,
okay,
Walmart.com, they'll give you the temporary number that will, it's almost like a proxy for your real credit card.
Okay.
But if the scammer gets a hold of that number, they know it's not going to work because you bought that bicycle for $200
only for that,
for your child or friend, and the scammer gets that, and they try to use that number to buy a big screen. They know it's illegitimate. So if you have those purchases, you can get a temporary credit card number, talk to your bank, and it will that way you don't have access to your actual credit card number. So
that's great info.
Yeah.
I did not know that. What about, you're shopping online, you see this great price. I'm shopping for, my grandson and granddaughter really wants this really cool bike helmet, since we're talking bikes. And I see on this website it's this much dollars, $40. This website has it for $18. What should you do there?
There are some websites that will offer great deals. Sometimes it's to members. So yeah, the bike helmet will be $18, but you just have to sign up for our membership for $100 to be a member of this club to get this for $18, which isn't so much a fraud or a scam, but it is something to be aware of. But that's where you want to verify it's a legitimate seller. If it's, Bikes and More from Skokie, Illinois, and that's who's selling this helmet, and they're going to offer free shipping. Right. You might want to go online and see if that may be a legitimate website. If they're giving the address, with Google Maps, you can go to Street View and see if that's actually, if it's actually a legitimate thing. You could perhaps call them, because a lot of these companies will be like third-party sellers or resellers. Right. So if it could be a great price, but you want to verify that it's, it is a legitimate website. Look for like an HTTP. Yeah, HTTPS, where it's a secured website. Yep. And again, if it is a third-party seller, you could always contact the main seller, because I know Walmart and Amazon will use third-party. Correct. You can always call them and ask them if it's a verifiable price, things like that. And again, if you know it's going to be $18, maybe get one of those temporary credit card numbers and just get that purchase price, and look for things like warranty and things like that to bring it back.
We still have a lot to chat about, but so we talked about online shopping. What about charities this time of year?
Charities are a big thing right now, especially with COVID going on as well. There are a couple different ways to check. One of the easiest, if you go to CharityWatch.org, I believe, that is a place where you can look to see if the charity is legitimate. So make sure that's something that you check. I think Charity Watch, Department of Consumer Protection with the state of Connecticut. They have a website that'll be able to provide you information about certain charities, ones that are legitimate. Also, if it's a local charity, if you get a phone call, and it's Groton so-and-so, like I know people have gotten some for the Groton police, but like for a certain thing, you be like, I am interested in donating, but let me call you back. Let me call the actual police department and verify if this is a legitimate thing or not. So
one thing I know we've suggested at the senior center before is like, even a little white lie. Hey, you know what? I'm really busy right now. I'm interested, but let me call you back. What number can I call you back at? Or don't even ask that, just do call back to the police department.
People have people operate mostly in the same fashion. They're human nature, and they're scammers, but they're also salesmen. So
Yes.
they're using the sales tactics. They want to keep you on the phone, just like the dealer wants to keep you in the car showroom so you smell the new car and look at the new car.
Right.
They want to keep you on the phone. They want that high-pressured sales tactic because some people will just give the information,
Just
okay,
to get off the phone.
I don't want to be someone who's not doing a charity. Let me just give you this real quick. I've even heard where they'll say, you can just leave money in a mailbox, in an envelope, we'll come get it, things like that.
Wow.
So definitely just hang up, as we say, and verify later. So.
Okay, yeah. So it's almost like you have to do a lot of not a lot, but a little bit of detective work of your own.
A little extra work
to check yourself.
The amount of stuff that you'll have to do afterwards is going to be, even greater. And I brought up COVID. One of the things that I know the FBI issued a warning about contact tracing scams.
Yes.
Because you may be called and told that, you've been exposed and we need to verify information. That's not, how that's going to happen for the most part.
Okay.
So, if you think you've been exposed, obviously, you reach out to your local resources and you try to verify that. You're not going to get a random phone call, possibly.
Right.
You might get a phone call that says you've been exposed, but they're not going to want personal information, Social
Correct.
Security, credit card numbers, things like that.
No, there's no need for that.
Yeah, no need for that. And, be aware of any fake vaccines or things like that that may be being offered. I know Interpol just issued a warning about that.
Oh.
There's some that was occurring, not in this part of the country, but you never know. So that's something to be mindful as well.
Yeah, definitely. Sean, you've had so much great information today. We barely even got to chat about it all, but thank you. My takeaway from this is double check yourself, slow down. If it feels weird, check it.
Yep, your brain sends something weird, and just slow down. It's your time.
Okay.
Let it happen. Let you take control of it, and verify on your own.
Okay. And if somebody thinks they've been scammed, who do they call?
They can contact their local police department. If it's in Groton town, they can call us at 441-6712.
Okay.
And 911 for an emergency.
Okay.
Or they can contact the department where they were scammed.
Okay, in their town.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you,
Not a
Sean,
problem.
so much. Appreciate it. And
Not a problem.
happy holidays.
Thanks, happy holidays.
Thanks. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Welcome to Groton.